Hello and welcome to Women in Retail Talks. I'm Ashley Taradio, Senior Content Strategist at the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, and today I'm joined by Risa Barish, co-founder of Fairy Tales Hair Care, the makers of the leading line of professional hair care for children. Today we're going to be talking about Risa's transition from a comedian to an entrepreneur, a little bit about Fairy Tale Hair Care's D2C strategies, and all about the company's newest division, TBH Kids, a tween personal care line. So Risa, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So I gave a brief introduction, but could you give us a little bit more info about yourself and how you transitioned from a comedian to an entrepreneur?
Sure. So Fairy Tales is actually my third career. My first one out of college was in public relations, which I really loved. I love talking and I love writing. So that was really a great career choice for me. But I had always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. So living in New York, it was just this great opportunity to go to an open mic night one night. And 6 years later, I had been auditioning for every TV show that was never made in the 90s. And I was sort of getting a little frustrated because I am actually a fourth generation entrepreneur. So I always knew I needed to sort of be in control of something. And being a comedian, you really don't have much control. So when my husband came to me with this idea, after he had seen what was going on in his cousin's salon called Fairy Tales on Long Island, with our Rosemary Repel line, I knew it was time to hang up the microphone and fulfill my fantasy of being an entrepreneur. So that's how it happened.
Yeah, that's so interesting that you're a fourth generation entrepreneur.
Yeah, so my great-grandfather came here from Russia, lived up in the Bronx where he made batteries, and he would sell them on a push cart up and down the streets of the Bronx. And then my grandfather took the business over, turned it into a multinational business. In fact, we had the government contracts during both world wars. We had a patent on a floating flashlight. So when our soldiers invaded Normandy, they all were carrying Bright Star flashlights and batteries, which is pretty cool. And then my dad, the business was sold, and my father went into the mortgage business, and he owned that for many years. And then he was very early into technology and has a patent on voice recognition technology. So yes, I am a fourth generation entrepreneur and the first woman.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Lots of rich history there.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's talk more about Fairy Tales Hair Care. What inspired you to start the company, and what makes it stand out from other children's hair care companies?
So Fairy Tales, it was definitely first to market, right? So there really wasn't any professional hair care for children. And my husband's cousin owns a salon on Long Island called Fairy Tales. And Rob was there one day and noticed that there's people just flocking the store to buy this shampoo called Rosemary Repel. Apparently there was a lice outbreak in the 5 towns, and the shampoo can actually help prevent head lice. So Rob really saw an incredible opportunity. He came home and said, I have your next project. So I did a little research. It was prior to Google, so I went to the New York Public Library, read about lice and prevention and natural ingredients, and the shampoo had rosemary, tea tree, citronella, lavender, all these great oils that have been shown to prevent lice. So I created a shampoo, a conditioner, and a leave-in spray. And we launched with those 3 products, and it was a really hard sell. We went into the professional market because we really didn't have money for advertising for a big budget. So we figured if we went into the salons, the stylist would help us, sell the product, explain the product. But there had really been no professional hair care for kids prior to that. So it was a very hard sell for many, many years.
And now you're number 1 on Amazon and number 2 in Target, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Amazing.
We are the number 1. For the last, 3 weeks, we were the number 1 conditioner out of all the conditioners sold on Amazon. So that is incredible. It's the second year in a row for back to school season. We are number 2 behind Suave Kids with a lot smaller footprint, which is pretty cool. We're in Target, Ulta, Walmart. We're in H-E-B. We're in all the grocery chains, and it's just really, this little idea has turned into this absolutely massive business. It's really been so exciting to watch and help it grow.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the new division, TBH Kids, what consumer insight went into launching a tween personal care line?
Well, I will tell you the first and foremost, it was my own children. Uh, so I have now a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old. And about 3 years ago, I'm watching my kids grow and change, and I'm watching their hair, stay filthy after they promised me they washed it, and little pimples, starting to form. And gosh, they would come home smelling after a day of school. And I realized that if my kids are growing up, then the Fairy Tales customer is growing up as well. And I did some research. Thank God I had Google this time. And I could see that there really wasn't anything out there for this tween market. There's, things out there for a teenager, and they sort of, have some aspirational brands that, the older kids are into. But there was really nothing that was completely directed towards the 8 to 12 segment. So we really did, look around, did a lot of research, and found that there was a void, and we created TBH to fill that void. They're just starting to smell. Their hair is oily. All these crazy changes that are just happening, that they don't need really heavy duty products. Like, for example, we have something called Spot Wash and wipes, and we put 0.5% of salicylic acid in it, as opposed to most other products that have 1% and above. So we took that down a notch. Our shampoos and conditioners have ingredients such as nettle, meadowsweet, aloe, jojoba, to help dry up the natural oils on the scalp, yet keep them pH balanced. So, a lot of kids, their hair gets so, oily after a day that, this helps dry up the natural oils, and maybe they can get a day or so extra out of washing their hair, because, most tweens don't love to bathe as much. It's not fun.
Yeah.
As any mother will tell you. So we did that. We took our deodorant, there was about 9 generations of iterations, of the TBH deodorant. My poor daughter was the guinea pig for that one. We have charcoal, we have coconut oil, we have Muro butter, which is really nice and soft. And, it really works. It's just been a great it's a great formula. So we're really proud of our TBH Kids. It's really hitting a niche, but we really focused on the niche.
And I love the name, by the way. It's so catchy and clever.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a great story about that one. So we wanted to call the products FYI.
Oh, okay.
We had a whole team come in here. I paid a lot of money to companies to help us, come up with a line, and FYI. And we had a little problem with the trademark, and I had gone home to dinner, over the dinner table, and I always talk to my kids about work. And I said, I don't think we're going to get FYI. And my daughter Ava says to me, "What's FYI?" And I said, "For your information." She's like, "Mom, you mean like TBH?" I was like, so there funny. It is.
Yeah, it's probably, TBH definitely resonates better with the generation you're targeting.
100%. It was like marketing 101, right? It's like, know your audience. And we were, we missed it. So I had to rely on my 13-year-old.
And that leads me to my next question, actually. So these products are targeting a whole new generation. How does that fit in with your D2C strategy? Are you actually targeting the tweens, or just the parents, or both?
So you have to target both, right? There's absolutely no way to target one or the other. It's an expensive proposition, but I've been in this business a very long time. So I've noticed, through the years, and all the business that we've done, where the moms sit. And then, so we knew that the moms are on Facebook, the moms are on, Pinterest. So we knew that's where we were going to focus the YTBH, and what they needed, and what it does, and how it can help the kids, sort of teach them this, good habits, start early, right? That's for the parent message. And then we're on Instagram, we're doing some stuff on TikTok soon, really where a lot of the kids lie, Snapchat, to target to the kids with not so much messaging, just more about brand awareness. Hey, this is this new brand made just for you. So it's like we like to inform the kids and sell to the moms.
That's a really good strategy.
Yeah. So far, so good.
So we're going to shift gears a little bit, but subscription-based commerce is really big right now. Do you have any plans to launch a service like that? Do you think that fits in with Fairy Tale Hair Cares or TBH?
Well, I don't, we're in too many retail outlets, I think, for, Fairy Tales to do anything like that at this point. But it is absolutely the perfect model for TBH at this point. I don't think that's something you do right away. I think you sort of have to, grow your business, get to know your audience, get to know their turns, see where, really just to understand where the line is, right, as to how much they're going to buy, where the incentives are. You want to find out your ratios, right? So we're finding that if there's 30 wipes, how long does it take for a customer to reorder? And once we really have an understanding of the details, then we can figure out based on, discounts versus frequency of where the value add is to the customer, yet still obviously make money. So we're doing that right now, and we'll probably be able to launch a subscription-based by, around January, February, first quarter next year.
Oh, that's very exciting. That's
yeah,
so soon.
Exactly. We're excited. It's the perfect spot for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mentorship is really big for women in retail. So I always like to ask whoever I'm interviewing if you have any women mentors who have helped you along the way, or if mentorship's important to you.
So I always say I missed the boat on all of that. I really did not have anyone to really talk to about this. We're based in New Jersey, and we were in an area that a lot of women, nobody had really done this before, right? Nobody's really in this kid space. So we're not really beauty, we're not really just hair care. So it was really very hard to, find someone who could really relate to what I was doing. So I talk to my friends a lot, talk to my kids, talk to my husband, and I'm very proud of our growth. So with that said, it's very important to me to be able to give back once I realized, that I actually had something to give back. So one of the things that I'm really looking forward to doing in the next couple of years is, mentoring young women in the business. I've met a few just recently at the Indie Beauty Show in New York, and had dinner with some of them. And I just keep in touch with them. I'm helping them, in a couple different ways where I can. And it's absolutely incredibly rewarding. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah, it's great. They're terrific.
So my last question for you is just, and we kind of touched on this with the subscription-based commerce, but what's next for you and for Fairy Tales Hair and TBH? Anything else down the line?
Well, it's actually going to be a very big year for us. There's a lot cooking, which I can't share yet. I will tell you that Fairy Tales Hair Care is growing by leaps and bounds. Again, we're up, 20 some odd percent year to date. We are actually talking to some major retailers to double face our products, right? So Fairy Tales Hair Care sits in the hair care section with our Rosemary Repel lice prevention, our Lice Goodbye lace removal, our Tangle Tamer line, our Curly line, and our Sun and Swim line. But the Rosemary Repel and the Lice Goodbye do so well there. We're getting calls to double dip in the stores and go into the first aid section.
Oh.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. So we tried to do that. And, I always say the numbers don't lie. So the data is showing, we did it. It's in Walmart in the first aid section. And the numbers are very positive. So a lot of the other retailers are seeing those numbers. And we hope to have Rosemary Repel and Lice Goodbye in the first aid section as well. So that's really exciting. We're talking to a lot of other companies and stores and retailers about taking on some more of our products. We have just amazing products with the Tangle Tamer and the Curly. So that's really nice because, Rosemary Repel has been our bread and butter for so many years. It's nice to see the other products, coming up and getting play. And TBH is really growing by leaps and bounds. We're excited about that. We have partnered with Varsity Cheer, and we'll be sponsoring cheerleading competitions and throughout the year. So we're excited about that as well. And we have some new products down the line that we're excited about launching. So it's going to be a really big year for us.
That's all very exciting.
It is. We're a 20-year overnight success.
Well, Risa, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Women in Retail Talks.
Thank you for having me, Ashley. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at wirlc.com/podcasts for show notes. Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.